just recording a little video to show you my progress on the thing we've been doing, audit program. So start off, I've got the iOS simulator here, and on the right hand side I've just got my text editor with all the source code that's in your Subversion repository. So here's the application audit. I'm just going to start it up. When you normally start up, you are taken to this login screen where you'd enter your username and password and log in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you're presented with a list of documents. So these is currently empty, so I'm going to create a new one. Click on this button here. Bring up the new document screen. This is going to be auditing a school. Can't type very well, clearly. And here I'm going to choose the form. This is where we'd have a bunch of different forms to choose from. I've only got one in my little sample. Click on that. So worksite audit and save. So now I've got that new documents added to my list. Click on it and I'm in there. The title and form have been populated, and now I'm getting this area here, which is the dynamic form that's been built up as using information like a JSON file that's pulled from the database. I'll show you that shortly. So there's a few things to note. One thing is you can put the form into different sections. I've got it all in one section, and it's called custom form. And I've just constructed this form to show the different data types and some features. So this is a string. Hello. When you type on that field, it brings up the keyboard. This next field is a text field. As you can see, it's multi-line. Line 2, so that's where you need to write more text. And all of the fields can be set with this kind of subtitle, which just goes away, I think, if you go over it. I'm not sure how that works. That's a little bit of an online sort of help, if you like. The next field is an email field. So there's two things happening here. One is we've got this placeholder. So that is to again help the user know what to do for this field. Enter your email here. And it's an email field. I'm not sure if you noticed, but down here the keyboard changed to be more specific for entering emails. Email address, watch the keyboard change. I click on the phone field. And again, when I click on the number field, it's got another one of those placeholders. Okay, date of birth, it's obviously going to be a date field, so we use the date picker. And the date display up the top here can be different formats. You can do the long formats and short formats and so forth. Okay, we've got a couple of Boolean fields. This one's a slider, the next one's a tick box. And another picker, like a sort of a drop down list kind of thing. And we've got a fancy little button list, I guess, I'm not sure what you call it. And the last one is where we can choose an image. So if this was a real phone rather than a simulator, you can choose to take a photo at this point. Because it's a simulator, I can only grab one from the library. So I'll grab this one and we save. It's saved, and come back later. It's all saved in the database and on the file system. Come back in later and go and mess around with the details. A little problem with doing an update. If I save this again, I get a problem with my saving the image, so something I'm working on. So I'll just cancel that. When you've had enough of that one, it's finished with it, or you don't want it anymore, you delete it. So that's where we're at. with the look and feel. If you wanted to just have a little bit of a look at the file format of those forms, might be an interesting thing. I'll very briefly take you through the database structure, which I think is quite an interesting point where we might coordinate things. So if you open a file which is called app_delegate.ruby, and you can see all the different tables. We've got count, which is sort of a grouping of users. Here we've got our users table, and this is all stored in a SQL-like database. It's running on the OS, and that's how I imagine we'd use that information to sync from the database back to the web server. We've got this table which has got the forms, and the key thing there is this JSON form. It's where it's not a very big field, but that will be expanded to hold the data. Our documents, again I think I need to increase the size of the data, but that's how we store the data. Got the documents here, and any things like images are in this attachments table. And if you scroll down a bit further, you can see where I'm as I've got migrations that run into that database, and this JSON_form. You can see how I've defined, the form that we just looked at. So it's got a section with a title, and then a bunch of rows, and each one of these represents the metadata for a field. So my name field, my key is called name. That's where it's stored in the database. It's a string. It's got a title, etc. And I don't need to go through that. You'll work it out. So catch up with you soon to talk about it a bit more. Cheers, mate. Bye.